Eye on Gauteng, brought to you by the Gauteng Department of Economic Development.
Welcome back. You're watching Eye on Gauteng. This is the fashion edition, and still with us is Grant Blackbeard, Palesa Kharekwe, and Aria Fabian. Now, breaking into the fashion industry is not something that can be done on talent alone, apparently. Now, the AFI Fast Track program is designed to groom some of the country's most promising fashion designers into becoming a force to be reckoned with, and perhaps even the next David Tlale. Now, let's take a look at this year's competition and see what went down.
The global fashion industry is worth hundreds of billions of dollars. The allure of this industry can prove irresistible. It's also an industry that is notoriously tough to break into.
I was literally born into it.
To me, it means something very big.
Fast Track is an African fashion international initiative to help give young and upcoming designers the platform they will need to make their mark at South Africa's premier fashion showcase, the Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week Joburg.
Well, AFI Fast Track, basically supported by Fushini, is a young designer development program. This is where we help young designers and fast track them through their careers. And not only is Fast Track a development platform for designers, it is also a development platform for fashion producers, for fashion photographers, for project managers within the fashion industry. So all that revolves around the fashion design as such.
In a globalized economy, there is a greater need for South Africans to nurture homegrown talent. Government has stepped in to lend its support.
We must be the best. What concerns me about some of the South African designer clothes is the finishing. And we all agree, sitting here and many other people I know, that we must all work towards improving the finishing, the craftsmanship. And to that effect, when we met with the Italian, particularly in Milan, we agreed that we must have this exchange program with the Milan fashion school that will take students from South Africa, young designers from South Africa, and vice versa, and those people will come here. Those programs will go a long way, and I'm going to partner with yourselves, particularly support designers that are coming from Gauteng, whether they come from Orange Farm, from Pretoria, or wherever in the province, we are going to lend you support.
Fast Track is a competition. Perhaps the best way to discover new talent is to expose them to the cutthroat competitive world of high fashion. An internship in South Africa's top fashion house will fast-track their careers.
At last. It makes me feel like I actually belong somewhere, you know? Struggling for most of your life and really being recognized for creativeness, it's such an honor. And I'm so grateful. It really makes me feel like I'm shining right now.
I'm feeling so humble. I'm happy, but I'm grateful that there were people behind me supporting me to make it where I am today.
David Tlale has a lot in common with the young designers and was part of the panel to unearth South Africa's next fashion prodigy.
The quality that we've seen today at the Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week Joburg is really amazing. Fast Track, I think, you know, years ago we would look at fashion and clothing and it's like, oh my God, what is happening on, you know, in our country? But I love the fact that young designers are starting to pay attention to detail, to finishing, different fabrications, and more than anything else, they take pride in their work.
Everything from the finishes to the fabrication was just excellent in my opinion. And considering that these are first-time designers, you know, all of them showing for the first time on a platform of this size. In fact, most of them are still studying. This is sort of a dream come true. They would have never imagined this in their wildest dreams. And
the future designers of South Africa have been given a great platform to shine and showcase their talent. Hopefully, these are the names that will soon become a household in South Africa and the rest of the world.
Well, great expectations. I want to bring you in, Aria. How difficult is it to crack it in the fashion industry in the first place?
Look, yeah, I mean, one needs to keep their commercial head on their shoulders and actually focus on principles which drive a business combined with creativity. Mm-hmm. And therefore then you are able to deliver to the market and make it a commercial business.
Do creative people have a problem with getting their head out of the creative space and into the business space?
Yeah, I think that's quite an interesting question. I think you need a combination. So if there is a very strong creative person, maybe that needs to be coupled with somebody with business acumen, and then the two of them can drive it together. Alternatively, always to learn processes, and there are some great leaders in this country which can give us that are doing superb jobs in the industry.
Well, let's bring you in here. Obviously, you were part of the fast track program. I think you were one of the judges, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. And are you inspired by what you saw? Yes. Is the fashion industry in good hands going forward?
Yes, I was very inspired. I mean, you know, to think that some of them graduated last year, end of last year, and some of them are graduating this year, and they were able to come up with such collections, and also how they interpreted their creative, story, where they got the inspiration from into what we saw on the runway. I think we have got some good quality designers. Well,
AFI gave them the exposure. We saw
definitely.
It, they're obviously on our program today, on countless other publications. They got the right exposure. What's the next step?
I think the next step, Lionel, is to the mentoring and to also give them the exposure. You know, if they are to go into starting their own businesses, we as government, we have to make sure that the funding that they require to get started is available. But also they have to start somewhere. I don't think that having showcased at AFI and now you have this label, you know, you think you are ready to take on the world. I think it's a process. I'm sure, Ari, it took you some time before you were at the level that you are at now. You know, so I think being mentored with labels like Ari's, you know, that can definitely make a difference.
Grant, you want to come in here? I mean, often the criticism is that for a fashion designer, like the ones that we just showcased, they have, they live for Fashion Week. And then after Fashion Week is gone, it's the next Fashion Week that they're working towards.
Absolutely, it's been said many, many times. Not just the developing designers, but the established ones as well. And you know, it's our duty as AFI to ensure that we're not a fashion week. We are a business that exists in the industry, which helps develop designers, and we have to be very conscious of that. So you know, the board's direction and the strategic direction from our business side is that development is the key, and we will assist in the development of that full designers program. So I think from a fast track perspective, I think we've started that, is that young designers don't often get the chance to be on the Fashion Week platform. So we've come up with this fast track program that allows them, and literally called fast track exactly for that, to try and assist and fast track their careers. And with us as well, we've put in a full 12-month internship as well as a mentorship program that using our own Fashion Week platforms of course, Mercedes-Benz Joburg, Mercedes-Benz Cape Town, and then of course Mercedes-Benz Africa, is offering them opportunities to do capsule collections that will then be exposed on those on those platforms. So it's not just about the Fashion Week, we just use them as the vehicle while they go through their full mentorship program for the year. Thereafter,
it's not the last we've heard from them.
No, absolutely not. I'll be honest with you. AFI, again, what we're doing is currently developing a brand house strategy, which means that when they're finished with that whole process, we then will look at taking them under our wing from a point of view, an umbrella perspective, and then assisting them through. Because as you said, you know, the point is here that these designers are creative. Do they have the business acumen? Not always, but they need that support. So as Ari said, if you pair them, if you put them in a house or an umbrella system that allows them to be able to be supported, then they will succeed and mentored with the government's help. Obviously with, as you say, mentoring with successful houses and designers, they'll succeed.
Ari, I just want to bring you in here. I've spoken to quite a lot of designers and people in the fashion industry, and it seems like the nirvana for them and the actual be-all and end-all is to have your shop. You know, to have your shop, but with your name, whatever your design is. Is that necessarily the best way to go?
Look, to get a brand presence is really important, and a retail outlet is, but retail is a science, and one mustn't be seduced by what it has to offer or having your name in bright lights. I think it's very important that people have a business plan, and that their business plan is actually checked not only by external people, but by other people. Like, for example, a landlord in a shopping center should be checking the business plan, as well as other external people, so to make sure that they just don't rush in. You know, there's a great thing.
But the track record is not the best at the moment. I mean, we've heard so many stories of people that went out, showcased, opened shops, and closed.
Correct. And that's why I think that there needs to be an integrated process. AFI is certainly looking to create that integrated process. You can see there Foschini is sponsoring this fast track program, which I think is a very successful big retailer, which is called TFG, which is sponsoring this fast track, and that will give people momentum. You saw how proud that one lady designer was to say that, and they used the word as humbled, and hopefully they can give them the tools and the processes to make sure that they can succeed in a very challenging but bright lights industry.
All right, Palisa, the retail side of things, isn't that what brings critical mass to this industry? If the government were to support any particular aspect of the fashion industry, would you support our young designers getting into retail?
Oh yes, definitely, Lionel. You know, it's again a question of your demand and supply. And for as long as people wear clothes, there's always going to be a demand for that. And we have the outlets, and we've got the retail stores like Foschini's, your Edgar's. And I think, you know, if maybe government can enter into some form of an arrangement with them, maybe, I know previously when I used to work for Mnet, there was a quota that the local production aspect has got to be incorporated in there. Why can we not do the same within the retail industry? Because that's another platform where the garments that they make can be bought. People go to the fashion shows, they see the clothes on the ramp, and then there's a problem. Where do they get the garments after the fashion show?
Do you find that, Grant, the fact that, I mean, the fashion week is usually popular with most people I know, like, oh my goodness, you're going to fashion week. Everybody loves to be there. But is it what is showcased? Is it practically available from a retail perspective?
Look, I think that obviously you just saw the fast track, and that's very conceptual because, you know, these kids have just finished college and varsity, and they haven't commercialized themselves enough to be retailable.
But generally,
I think that certainly we have got to a very commercial point. You know, we have to be very business minded as designers to understand that what is going to sell is what your target market expects, and you know, you have to be able to supply for your consumer. So we are quite a conservative bunch of people. As much as we think we're not, we still have a very conservative mindset in our fashion. So our designers have to be very, very conscious.
Fantastic. Thank you very much to my guests, and thank you so much for coming. Well, with that, we come to the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching at home. Until next time, it's goodbye for now.